Okay.
Uh,
Are we good?
uh,
Are we rolling?
yes, sir.
Are we live?
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right. Good evening, Wide World of Motorsports listeners. We're trying something new tonight, I guess. Right, Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, I guess I'm going to host tonight. So things might be a little bit different, but we'll see how it goes. Um, you know, that intro it sets us up. I think it's great. The boys and I, the they and I don't know if you can say boys anymore, but the boys and I, White Hot, new single coming out this week, 2/18/22. But we were just talking
Hey,
about
you got
that.
that. You got it.
I uh, I love I love that intro. It's a great intro. They did a really good job. It's a great single. So
And that's on
uh,
all basically the same streaming services we're on, so you can
great.
whilst you're on wherever you're at, you can just search that up. White Hot, The Boys and I. It's
Yes.
too easy.
Well, yeah. On Spotify. I like Spotify. I use Spotify all the time, actually. But you can go Apple Podcasts. I don't know where else. I don't know what other streaming services there are because I'm kind of illiterate when it comes to technology. And when I know one thing, I know one thing. But we have the WAMS television, so you can say, "Hey Siri, stop listening." But can you put on WAMS TV and we should pop up?
It should.
It
Let us
should.
know. We'll
I haven't
test it
tried it.
out.
Have you tried it? I
Yeah,
haven't tried it.
it worked for me, and it worked on another phone that I was able to test it on.
Okay, okay.
So
You
that's as much
can,
as our group study went. That's as far as our. That's as far as that went.
for being involved in a podcast, I'm like really not involved in a podcast sometimes. You could definitely check us out at the Wide World of Motorsports podcast.wordpress.com if you feel like typing all that out. But you can just follow us on Facebook and we post all of our stuff over there
If
and
you
it'll link
feel
you right
like
over.
typing all of that out,
I know, but it's
come
wordy.
on.
Facebook's easier. Facebook's easier.
I take that personally.
Um, we're on Radio Waterloo, maybe, I think. If you're in that
Potentially.
region, potentially, and you hear us, let us know.
It,
That's a monthly
be a
program.
part of our
So,
group test.
hmm but definitely follow us on Facebook, the WOMS, WWOMS. People always wonder what that means. I have that problem. I have IMSA sticker on the side of my truck. IMSA, of course. But
Imser.
everybody always says, "What is a IMSA? Is that a truck model?" I wish it was, but no. Anyways, Wide World of
Or something
Motorsports
else.
or something else.
Some weird clan or cult. Um, yeah, it's
So we
interesting as
got
you say the WOMs. Like I never thought of it years ago. Actually, to the day when it was official, when the Wide World of Motorsports officially spun off. It was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2018. I thought we already went through this.
it's like 4 years ago.
You got the math. You
I
got the
don't,
math. You
but four
got the
years ago.
math. I thought you said I was all right.
You said I was all right.
But yeah, he so yeah. That was 4 years ago to the day when we started. If kind of officially. I never thought of the
half of
WOMs.
it.
I never thought of saying that. So that's interesting how it turned into that.
Well, I kind of always write it out that way,
As our
WOMs, because it's
fans
quicker.
have fed back to us, the WOMs. Everyone calls it the WOMs, from what I've heard. I was like, okay, we'll run with
The
it.
WOM
We'll
esports
go with
team, the
it. Yeah,
WOM.
it's whatever. It
You
makes
listen
sense.
to the WOMs. No, I don't listen to the WOMs.
I was
What?
when
I'm
we
just
had to
saying.
change our handle at one
Happening.
point, and I was afraid that it didn't make sense, and then it ends up rolling off the tongue better. I never thought of that.
It's
Our
not
group
bad.
study,
Not bad.
our group study was lame. It was not very good.
All
um,
of two people.
uh,
Yeah. Oh well.
good
So what are
week.
we what are we gonna talk? What are we talking about this week?
Good week this week. It's Speed Week.
Speed week. I know.
It's Speed
Used to be
Week.
weeks. Yeah, they're trying to save money. They're trying to save money. Although
I
they didn't
guess it
save any
could be
money
still
driving out
Speed
west and
Weeks.
then
I
back
mean,
to the east.
I guess that was only last. That was 2 weeks ago. So no, I don't think that counts. The Super Bowl definitely, apparently, was big. So I guess that definitely put a buffer in between those two events, between the Clash and
Hmm.
the Speed Week at Daytona. Which we'll see how that goes. And then we got some other stuff, Wallace.
Yep, we got some. We're going to a little IndyCar IMSA talk, kind of connected together, and a little F1. Um, Watching the Clash 2 weeks ago got me really excited for the season to come. Um, but that's the past. Sayonara. See you later. We're at Daytona. A completely different track.
Daytona.
The complete opposite of what we saw 2 weeks ago in LA. Um, the cars, it's funny. I watched the NASCAR race uh, yesterday, which would have been Tuesday, the 15th, and watching how the race progressed with this new car. Um, I don't know if they're just running safe or if they're just running or careful or if it's going to reflect either way to what we're going to really see in the real world. I know they said that the car at the LA Coliseum and the virtual car and the virtual track drove pretty
Virtual,
much,
yeah.
but it drove and raced pretty much exactly how they
Thought it would.
expected it to
And
happen.
oh
So I'm
man,
curious.
it's the same with Daytona. It has to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
It
So
has to
if
be.
that race is any indication, you know, there's going to we saw a couple guys just lose it, loose. That we're going to see that old school, the center, the middle lane is the sucker hole. If you get out there and you don't have that help, you're just gonna fall backwards, right? That was a little old school, earlier 2000s. That I remember that being. Mm, we I think with the Gen 6 car, we saw a lot of um, strong side drafting. The cars side drafted really well with each other, um, so you could see a car fight its way up without having as much help. But now with the new car, or the new aero package designed around this car, um, it's it's kind of I don't know, it's back to more cars is quicker. I think you'll be able to still get that breakaway, that two car tandem breakaway, but um, the pack is going to be quicker than two cars. Which I don't think we've seen that in a while. Would you agree with that?
From what I so this week was I watched a lot of single car stuff. In practice, we saw, from what I've seen, the Hendrick cars got together. At one point, all the manufacturers were getting together, running laps. There were some
Hmm.
mixed cars. Well, hard to tell. I don't know. Because we're talking right now. Tomorrow night we'll find out. So there's a bit
Yeah,
of
that's
waiting. There's
right.
only what 20 or so hours of us. We're gonna find out. I feel like I'll get an answer for you then. Give me 20 hours on that one. Can we defer?
Yeah. Um, I'll it'll be interesting. I know I watched a little bit of the Toyotas all working together. Um,
I just hope they all don't wreck out in the first turn. That's my head. That's what I'm thinking. It's like we won't know any of this stuff unless they don't make it out of turn one.
we'll see, and I think the potential for something to happen quickly early on in
It
the
could happen at
race
any
is
time with the next gen cars.
well because
Anything could happen anytime.
yeah, because they don't know, right? If there's I
There's
know
so
they've
many
been testing, I
unknowns.
know they've been
There's
yes,
too
exactly,
many
but they've never raced
unknowns
them.
for
That's
some.
I don't
For some. For a
it's
fan,
just
it's
part of it.
great, but think about how it's like for them. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Mechanical failures is gonna be something that I'm thinking about. So for the drafting,
Mhm.
the cars, uh, with obviously with the bumpers being rounded, and not only that, their ride is a bit more bumpier. We've seen,
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
they're running a lower profile tire, right? They're losing. Um, I
yeah,
don't know if ever I don't know if all people know this, but that sidewall height was always a little bit of help in suspension and absorbing.
yes,
That we saw you would see that really big in Formula One, and that's one of the big things for them that's changing this year is they're going to a lower profile tire, and it changes everything with the suspension.
imagine how it's
So
gonna hurt them.
it's
Yeah,
gonna hurt.
the
Yeah.
in car they
So
were bumping around so much
yeah.
physically. That's gonna be they're bouncing around like I've never seen before, and how the cars hook up, and like with the diffusers and stuff too. I mean, there was they get really close how the bumpers connected, and people
Yeah,
will
but they
see
don't
that a
line
lot
up.
this weekend.
Like they
There
don't
was
line
some
up very
pushing. There
good.
was some pushing during the practice sessions. It was very limited. I believe it was I had to have been between Logano and Cindric.
Mm.
If my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, he we're gonna see some people trying to push each other. And then, like I said, we're gonna see that in 20 hours.
Do you think it's gonna be two lines of do you, okay, let's pause that. Let's go into what's coming up. We had or what happened. We just finished qualifying here tonight, and we had Larson on the pole and Bowman outside pole. Surprised by that? I'm not really.
Ye Not surprised, but did you say otherwise last week? You had someone else in mind, if I'm not mistaken. I remember saying it was going to be all Hendrick top four, but you were surprised. You might be surprised, but you predicted different, or you're not surprised, but you predicted differently. If I'm not
Well, who did
mistaken,
I forget who I predicted? Who did I
I
predict?
thought it was the Gibbs.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Kyle.
So
I thought Kyle or
yeah, you said it was Kyle. It was
Harvick.
going to be Kyle Busch or Harvick. That's right. Yeah. So and I was like, nah. So at least Kyle kind of got out there, but not happy Harvick. No. But so
Yeah, I know, and
okay.
that's terrible because neither of them
How
finished
about
in
the
the top
variety
10.
of teams? So not so much surprising, but cool to see how about the variety of teams among the lineup that in practice, especially in the first few dozen cars, there's a lot of
Hmm.
cars that stayed up at the top. Some teams, Daniel Hemrick was up there. Bubba got up there early. He hung up
Hmm.
there at the top, and obviously until some of the big Gibbs, until Hendrick and all them got through, and Logano got through.
Hmm.
The 21 did good too. Like Trackhouse up there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's teams that is it possible that the parts, the all the parts that they're getting that are supposedly all equal, you can't
Hmm.
modify them. There's rules against that. So is that possible where we're gonna see? I was watching Suarez being interviewed post race, and I was looking at just kind of his hat, and then there was a Trackhouse logo on it, and I was looking behind him and was seeing how the hauler was, and I was like, wow, they're really putting on an image Trackhouse racing. So that
Hmm.
got me thinking, like at the end of the season, top four, Suarez is in there, and they win a championship in their early goings
Hmm.
as a race team, and it's possible. Hey, I mean, you can't just judge it off of one race to 500. When we're in the hard, when we go to Auto Club, or when we're in those tough races
Yeah.
during the season, some of those real like long ones, like at Kansas or Kentucky or wherever else. I always just name those tracks because I like those are my least favorite tracks. Some people
Hmm.
probably love those tracks. But yeah,
They're fun to drive.
but we'll see what happens when we get to those nitty gritty tracks, or those other tracks, like when the dirt track happens, or when they hit
Right.
road courses. Maybe he wins a road course. We'll see what happens. But that's what I'm saying. There's all these other cars getting up in there that we've never seen before. Jacques Villeneuve
Hmm.
made the show. He was the fastest out of all the cars, as well as uh, Noah Gragson. Two
Yeah.
independent teams as well.
Hmm. Um.
So, wow, what I think that's what I'm thinking, and maybe it's been like this before, but it stands out more this year that with the next gen car, and it's like it just stands out differently.
I would. Yeah, I agree. There in years past, there would be the odd team you would see, up in the top 10, maybe even in the top five that doesn't normally run up there, but you're kind of not surprised, sort of thing. But um, or the driver that's up there, and wow, we weren't expecting to see that car up there. Um, but this car, like everything you said is right. It's everyone's supposed to have the same stuff, so therefore you're going to see um, different drivers make it to the top, right? You're going to see driver talent outweigh car performance. Again, a correct where you're going to see the teams that have experience is through those dog day races that are grueling, long. You're getting wrecked on lap 5, and you still have 345 to go, and now you're just making up laps because you got a battle, and um, that's where the a team that has a good driver, good experience will beat a track house, right? Or uh, even even a 2311, right? I know Bubba's up here in 16th, and where did for qualifying, and Kurt
Eh,
was,
Bubba had a good early showing in that qualifying session.
yeah.
Uh,
um
those are going to be a couple cars that I'm not against Toyota, and I'm not against Joe Gibbs, and I'm not saying that anyone should be mad at those teams for being aligned with Toyota, but or Joe Gibbs specifically. But it'd be interesting to see if 23XI wasn't aligned with one of those two forces, and maybe they wouldn't be kind of not lagging behind, but it's going to get to the point where if they're we'll see what that happens on Sunday if they make something happen, but
Well,
like
I'm
a
just
little bit more
curious.
expected out of them, and especially now this year with Kurt Busch there.
Yeah, and Denny says that he expects both teams to make the chase. Like that's that's pretty lofty goals.
So
Maybe
yeah,
not. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited for both the duels. I'm wondering how going into these, you know, um, how these drivers are going to approach this. If I'm honest, Jacques did well. mm,
yeah, good to
And so
see
did
a driver from La Belle de Provence, a
yeah,
fellow
but
Canadian
he's not gonna.
from Canada, of course, Canadian from
Yeah,
Canada. Good to see him in there.
I don't have high hopes to be completely honest with you
When you're
about
when
him,
you're in a race
but
like that, and if you just make it through things, and you know how it goes
it's a big
from
deal.
our
I mean,
professional iRacing
The
career.
Biff,
Uh,
the Biff
you
made
could
it.
make it through
That's great
stuff.
to
Yeah,
see.
you could if you stay out of trouble and you stay from the back, and he'll probably be in the back. Not dissing him or anything,
No,
but like so you can definitely. But that's also a way to get bit in the ass too. But I think it'll be good.
yeah,
It just adds to his storied racing career too. I mean, F1 title, Indianapolis 500 victory, and
yeah.
then just imagine he and we've seen it before. We've seen it a few times before in Daytona 500
I
history
guess if
where a
there's
random
any,
will win, and he
yes,
could be
and if
it could
there's
happen.
any other time for him to have a chance to
It's now.
randomly win, it's right
This is
now.
it, right? Yeah.
So we'll see. It'll be I'm really excited to see what happens in the duels because we're gonna see them
50 years old too.
competitively.
So he might
Yeah,
be one of the oldest in the field, or if Biff is probably older than that. So you got a
I'm
little bit
sure.
of an age
I don't.
variety too.
I don't think he's that. I don't think he's in his 50s, Greg.
How much you want to bet, Wallace?
I will bet
You serious?
a hot dog at the next
Fucking
race we
right.
run up to. Okay, hold
52,
on.
52 years old.
No
Washington,
way.
Vancouver, United States.
Wow.
I think I could
I
put
did
it
not think he was 52
for
years old.
us
No way.
Canadian
You
race
were
fans.
looking at
NASCAR
it. You were
superstar
looking
Greg
at it.
Biffle.
You suckered me. I don't like it. Fake news.
Oh, I thought I was already
Um.
supposed to look it up. I thought that's how it works. Ha!
Oh no, I don't cheat.
NASCAR superstar Greg Biffle.
Anyways,
Yeah,
hey,
it's gonna be good to see tomorrow. Um,
I'm actually
the duels.
I'm the duels, and then we're gonna have trucks on Friday. They always put on a good race. Um, expect
The whole
fireworks for that
weekend's gonna
race.
be great. Xfinity and Cup. Hopefully, we'll try to do an episode each night of that.
Hmm.
Lots to talk about in Speedweek.
Yeah, and I hope we don't have to talk about too many wrecked race cars because, like we talked about last week, parts, limited parts. I don't want to see anybody have to miss the race because there's no parts. Um,
Well, how many more practice sessions are there?
that's putting me on the spot.
Well, either way, they're gonna have to watch it if there is or whatever, and if there isn't any, which I doubt there is, there's probably gonna be final practice Friday, Saturday. So you still got some time to have to take care of your stuff. Would suck to see something happen where someone's out because or they have to start a car with a wonky car because
Well, we haven't,
they
with everything that's been
sideswiped the
going
wall
on,
out of four in practice or whatever,
right?
or
Well,
at the
with
even in the duel.
everything that's going on, no, we haven't seen anyone spin, wreck, hit the wall. So the duel could just be really tame. I mean, the duel for everybody's going to be the first time
Probably.
the
You're right.
car
Oh
is
yeah, I
in
bet.
competition,
They'd
right? So
take
they're
it
probably going
easy.
to take it easy. And I mean, history of the duels is one's chaotic and one's not. You're going to hope that you're not in the chaotic one. Or maybe they both won't be chaotic. Maybe the second will learn from the first. You always think that, but usually that's not how it goes.
They learned to race
Um,
harder in the second one.
yeah, you learn to race harder in the second one. That's right. But I mean, a stupid move and ending guys potential ending their Daytona 500 run because you made a stupid move. I mean, nobody's going to want to be that guy. So I think you're going to see them be real careful.
Yeah, uh, it's gonna be fun to watch. It's good to it's good to have it back too. It's good to have racing in full force again, and to have NASCAR back with a statement. I've noticed the present, well, at least Fox doesn't really have much to do with NASCAR. They're really separate, and as far as I know, and how the presentation is. But I can even tell, even through that side of things, the presentation from Fox is a lot different now, and a lot more new
Mm.
age. Same thing with NASCAR, and I think that they're showing it's something really different. Like I remember to the other gens, and just like that was so long ago, and
Hmm.
so it's one of those times too where it's like you only get one first race with the first new car. This is it. It's awesome, man. And how many times does that happen? Only a few times.
Hmm.
I was like, people should freaking share. Like people are probably. I haven't even gone on social media after that qualifying, but I'm sure people are not happy. But I have no reason why they wouldn't be. This is good time to see something different, and I don't know. I don't know like what's gonna happen. Like it's early. You asked me like how do you think the cards are gonna draft stuff like we won't even know tomorrow because like when they're deep into a run on the Sunday, we're not going to know how they're going to run until how long the car can go, or when all the
Hmm.
cars are stopped, when they're all blowing up halfway through. That's the best way to test your new car is racing the 500, in my opinion. So we'll see. It's like trial and error.
Right. Um, Talking about or jumping off you saying people not happy or whatever with Kyle Larson taking the pole, you know, defending series champion, obviously coming off of 10, 11 wins last season just in the Cup Series. Um, Coming in, brand new car. He didn't win at the Clash. He was up. He was up at the front, that's for sure, but he didn't win. I don't think that means anything. But coming to Daytona and putting it on pole is is setting is setting the tone for how this year is going to go. I think. What do you think? Do you think that's that hard statement that you expect from a champion?
Cowbush?
I'm sitting here looking at a picture of him on the
Cowbush.
website, and no, Kyle Larson,
Sorry.
and I'm thinking, he hasn't skipped a beat since he stopped cup racing last year. Like he's just been racing
Oh, there's no doubt about
every
that, and
sprint car,
that's
You
been
know what I mean?
something
and it's proven. It's
unargued.
proven
Yeah.
by the fact that he's sitting on the pole. You know, he comes out
You know
here and
what?
just
I think
boom.
everyone's so focused on that. I think someone else is going to come up and take the show this season. Everyone's going to be like, there's going to be a chance where it's going to be that sliced bread situation. I don't know. There might be someone else that might take the show, especially
It's
with going back to
possible.
those new teams and the variety of teams in the lineup, and with all the parts supposedly supposed to be. I feel so bad saying supposedly or quote unquote the same parts because we're hoping that's what we're all hoping that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I have no. It would be a severe penalty if you don't. I'll tell you, it's gonna come for you, man. It's gonna bloody come for you. No, you gotta watch it,
Yeah.
teams. No, not that they're listening, but yeah, it's gonna. Like,
You're
what if that's
right.
new?
I
What
mean,
if
you're
that's
right.
new? What if we
You're
see random new teams win races all of a sudden?
you're going to. 100% you're going to. And I'm actually just looking at the list of drivers, thinking of drivers that the way this car is built, it might actually just
And
start suiting them.
you know what's
Guys like
funny?
Michael McDowell and like Austin Cindric, you might see those two guys. Like Michael's got so much experience with open wheel cars, and he's really underrated good driver. And then Austin with his road racing stuff, you could see those guys like that. I think Reddick really came out and said, "Hey, I'm a guy to watch this year with how well he did at the Clash, of course, until he broke his transaxle."
It might be so close in the chase, but that's or the playoffs months and months from now. But yeah, like
Mm.
we won't know until we see how it goes down, and I'd be surprised if other elements come into play throughout the season, like the penalties, where someone might get screwed out of the playoffs because the penalty happens. But that's like obvious to say. Um, what I do
Or
think is
somebody's gonna
interesting
get
though is
screwed.
check this out is the drivers alliance or whatever
Hmm.
the drivers team union or whatever it's called. Did you hear about that
Yes.
with Hemlin and uh, the mayor? I should have this. I should have the details of this up. I feel terrible that I don't. We need a Jamie to pull this up.
We need a Jamie to be Jamie pull this up.
So it's interesting because this was like kind of trending. Like I remember like reading this actually a month or two, a few weeks ago, end of January, beginning of February. I remember reading there was chatter again, and there was some things in like a clip from Denny Hamlin talking about a drivers' union almost happening a few years ago, and it was like an interview
Hmm.
from a media day from a few years ago from Pocky, and
Right.
uh, and it's funny how like 3 weeks later it actually happens. And this going on to like this is another thing is it's also funny how at the same time these guys all start driving the cars together and they go we need to form some sort of something because as they were saying and they're putting it nicely they're saying we just want to help them be successful and they have visions and we want to help them get to those visions but like if you got to sit down and think about it like it's let's be real. It's these guys are probably at a point where they're like, wow, this is out of maybe it's out of their they feel like things are kind of just out of their control.
Well,
Not
I
out of
think
control, but out of their
no, I know
control.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Um, driver unions or not
No, but the
unions,
thing is,
driver
union. We shouldn't even
organization.
use that word. Yeah, because this is not
No,
even anywhere. Union is nowhere
no,
used officially
no,
through the
driver
news or media or
organization.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
organization or council.
Um, isn't anything new. Formula One's had a drivers um, club. I think they usually call it a drivers club or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Um, since
They have jackets. They have a
back
little
in the 60s, they
long
would have
pipes. They'll smoke some sweet tobacco. No, sorry, go.
meeting. I mean, they used to talk and have meetings about tracks and about canceling races
Oh, sure,
um,
yeah.
and that's it. It was a drivers association, that Grand Prix Drivers Association. That's what it's called. Um, and that what it was set up and designed to do was to look after the drivers. So big time back then, um, circuit promoters, they didn't care. They didn't care if there was medical staff on site. They didn't care if roads were shut down and stuff like that because they used to run on open roads. So the Grand Prix Drivers Association came in and started enforcing that. Hey, we need doctors on site. We need medical support. We need this and that and whatnot. And yes, I remember as well it being brought up, and NASCAR needed something like this. It needed a group of drivers to help, um, lead the sport. I would say that pre 2001, it would have been Dale Earnhardt, right? It would have just been, he would have known the temperature of the garage, and his connection to the governing body and whatnot would have helped, um, lead the sport. With him gone, there was nobody to fill that vacuum in that void. And now, you know, 21 years later, you have Denny.
This is through NASCAR
Probably,
too.
yeah, is it?
Yeah.
But you have Denny maybe leading it in a not unlike Dale Earnhardt way. I mean, I don't want to say that Denny's anything like Dale Earnhardt, but there's similarities, right? He's driving for a
Well,
championship winning team. I know he's not won a championship, but he has, another team. Dale drove for RCR. He had DEI. There's things, um, you know, Denny's an elder statesman in the sport. I'm
well, there's
sure other
others. There's
drivers.
other guys in here: Kurt Busch, Kyle Petty, Joey Logano, Corey LaJoy, Austin Dillon, and Daniel Suarez. They're all on the board of
Mm,
directors for the Drivers Advisory Council through
yeah.
NASCAR, which is NASCAR's Drivers Council. So this is This ain't just like some separate thing. This is actually official. There's been efforts put in before, and now they got through with it. And COVID, they wanted to do this earlier apparently, but COVID kind of put things off track. So
Hmm.
now it's a
No
thing, and
doubt.
now, like I wonder. It's like I was just thinking in my head. It's like they're gonna want to that they're gonna get sick of the cars being so bouncy after a while. But anyway, they should be used to that. I think Clint made a good point. He said they should be used to their asses hurting or whatever, just from racing around from their younger years. Um, but yeah, so oh yeah, like it's just so cool to go into to so many unknowns and uncertainties, and yeah,
With
I'm
with
excited.
yeah, I think everyone's excited. Everyone's excited
I
for.
hope so.
I think the big one is the potential shakeup, right? That potential challenge at the top again. That's somewhat been absent. Um, so that's great. I wish that Jimmy would have come back. I wish Hendrick would have fielded it.
James Johnson,
James
Jimmy
Johnson. I wish
Jam.
he would run a fifth car. You can't. Just for
Yeah, no,
him.
it's interesting because he said I was watching a clip from like an old race It was like only
Hmm.
like it was Jimmy's last race. It's not an old race, but it's old, I guess.
Old enough.
And I remember they're saying like he was leaving, but he was going to come back. Like he was leaving full time racing,
Right.
which like led it to you'd think there'd be something for full time NASCAR. So even though he's full time racing in
I know what
IndyCar,
you're saying.
so he's still full time racing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing, as you always said, it would be a weekend where events would be at the same track, even if it was an
Yeah.
Xfinity. I'm sure Junior Motorsports would throw old Jimmy Jam a car at like I don't know when they go to Iowa or whatever, right? And Indy
Hmm.
cars there. I
Hmm.
forget what weekend where it's the double headers that they have. There's a couple of weekends where there's
Oh,
IndyCar and like Xfinity or trucks at the same. I don't know if there's a Cup and Indy. There was once, but it was because the vid. I think they had to do it the same weekend
right. Yeah, but yes. Okay, I know what we're
for
talking
Cup.
about.
But usually there's like there might be a truck or an Xfinity race in the same weekend as an IndyCar race. So I could. Who knows? Jimmy goes back into a truck. I think Jimmy ran a truck race or something. Did he ever run a truck race? I thought he did. I should know this.
I should. So stupid. No.
So stupid. I This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He calls himself a Jimmy Johnson fan. He actually ran one NASCAR Camping World Truck Series 2008 in the Bristol race.
Oh wow. What number? Did he run 48?
Don't know.
Where did he run?
Don't know. Best finish 104th. Oh no, that's overall finish of the
Yeah,
season.
overall.
It's like what?
Well, that would have been a
Eh?
crazy race.
Who
Yeah,
absolutely
that's too
knows?
funny.
What?
Well,
For Randy
speaking of,
Moss Motorsports, for those people out there.
ah,
For David Dollar, an NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver, Randy Moss.
hmm,
David Dollar, isn't that? I don't know. Anyway, go on.
well,
Host.
speaking of IndyCar is not going to make any special exceptions for their clash with St. Petersburg and the Sebring 12 hours this year. So Ryan
Special
Hunter-Reay is going to have
exceptions.
to fill in for Scott Dixon at the 12 hours of Sebring. Um,
Special
I'm kind of
exceptions.
I'm kind of surprised. Uh, so this happened a couple times last year and the year before, mainly because of COVID. There was just trying to get the seasons in. Stuff was going to clash, and there's really nothing that could be done about it. Um, I'm kind of
Okay.
surprised that IndyCar and IMSA didn't work this out or haven't worked this out, or that IndyCar won't make the exception. Although on the other side, I understand it. IndyCar is kind of saying, well, you know, we want you to focus on our series. We want our series to be the important series. So, they're two separate governing bodies are definitely competing against each other. Um, I not often, but sometimes they do compete um, on TV with each other, but they've been very good in recent years of keeping those separate, mainly for the crossover of drivers. But yeah, that's exciting, and I'm excited to see Ryan Hunter-Reay at least back in a car. Losing his full time ride in IndyCar. Although not really that shocking because he hasn't really been performing over the last few years, but he's the champ. He's a champ, previous champ, so it's good to see him getting a ride. And other IndyCar news, the Jimmy Johnson and Colton Herta. Remember this? Competing
In
um,
Sweden,
in Sweden for the what is that?
The Rock,
What's it called?
not Dwayne
The
the Rock.
Race of Champions.
Yeah,
Not no. Dwayne the Rock
no,
Johnson
Dwayne the Rock.
was not there. Nobody smelt anything.
No,
Nothing got
no, there
cooked.
was no one got yet. No involuntary
Um,
sniffings.
that was stupid. Anyways, they competed against many teams from around the world in a multitude of events and finished second, right? Isn't it
Oh
second?
yeah. And Buddy drank. Jimmy had to drink hot chocolate, and Buddy drank
Hot
alcohol.
chocolate.
That's what I saw in the picture
He had to drink
post
hot
race.
chocolate.
Nah, cause he's old. And then Buddy was drinking champagne. That was on social
Interesting.
media. That was on Jimmy's social media. Cause Jimmy's old.
I miss that. Because he's old, he drinks hot chocolate. No, he's got to cut weight. It's the carbs. And although
Maybe
no, that's wrong. No, there's got to be a
no
lot of
hot
carbs. I
chocolate.
don't
That's
know.
more.
I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I keep going on about that.
Jimmy Jams.
Um,
I think I was like
I
that was in a like I think the time difference was a little different. I think that was on like at a weird hour, so I could not. I missed that. Um, but that's good for Jimmy though. He's relevant. He's still racing good, and that's good to go into the IndyCar season. That's something that, especially with another competitor
positive. Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
little bit of something to yeah. He has a maybe a little. He's building relationships within his series, and that's something on track that can help him, especially with learning the track, and every track that he goes to is someone else. So he's growing. He's spreading his wings in IndyCar.
Well, I think I have a feeling possibly the drivers. This is going to come across probably not in the way that I mean it, but I hope that people understand what I mean by it. That drivers are going to respect him more now that that he's back for a second season, and B, that he's going to complete the entire season. What I mean by that is that he showed up last year. He wasn't going to run any ovals. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sure, sure.
Maybe as much as they would respect him as being a seven-time champion in NASCAR and blah 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 and
Runs
all
his
that
second
jazz,
race of champions.
they just go, okay, well, maybe he's one and done here. He's not taking it serious, so we don't need to take him serious. So I think with him coming back, going to the race of champions,
Some
maybe
IMSA
you'll see a
stuff.
different, more IMSA stuff. So he's really committing to the road racing stuff. I think hopefully we'll see a different Jimmy. I really want him to be successful. I don't expect him to finish top five on any of the road or street courses. I would be very surprised if he finishes top 10 in any of the road or street courses. I would not be surprised of him finishing top 10 on any of the ovals. Um, I'm really excited to watch him race this year. I'm really excited for the IndyCar series period this year. Um, they're I'm excited that they're coming back to Canada, eh, particular particularly. Hopefully we get to go to that one.
Yeah, I hope so. It should be fine.
Hopefully,
The way
hopefully
things are
he's
looking.
there.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. That's right. If he's running the whole season, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Stupid.
always sometimes feel
Stupid.
that Canada
He gets like
gets
caught at the
blown
border
off.
because he has a criminal record. Turns out he has a criminal record or something. It's like, oh,
It turns out he's been running drugs for the
some
cartels for
cartel, and
years.
that's where he started off in his that truck he ran, the dirt truck, the Traxxas or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
The
funny.
Baja. He was just
The
running.
Badger.
He's been running coke.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah, snow and ice in Sweden. But yeah, so Jimmy Jam, gotta love Jimmy Jam. Gotta get our Jimmy Jam corner on the show.
mhm, yeah,
And I guess that's a good
let's
segue
not
too into
forget.
IMSR.
Well, that was the kind of the whole IMSA IndyCar connection there. Not a whole lot going on in IMSA at the moment.
IMSR.
Cadillac releasing a teaser video of a computer generated car. So who knows if it's going to look anything like that. Um, I hope it does. It looked super cool. It sounded awesome. So if Cadillac sticks with that, that would be great. Um, Porsche has released some new photos of their LMDH car coming to IMSA with some new headlights uh, going
New
horizontal instead of
headlights.
yeah. It's actually
Wow.
it is. I know. I kind of feel like that might be pointless news, but it was big news because they made a point of making it like something they wanted everyone to look at. Um,
Yeah.
Interesting, but
That's what brings the kids in, you see.
yeah, headlights. But then, speaking of new cars, a lot of the F1 teams have been releasing their 2022 Challengers. No Ferrari yet, no Mercedes yet. Red Bull did, but they didn't. If that makes any sense. They released what their livery is going to look like on a car
Red and
that's
black.
supposed to look like the 2022 car, but everything I think from the driver back isn't what the car is going to look like because they didn't want anybody to see it yet. So Red Bull kind of um, released a car. Williams released their car. Aston Martin did, and McLaren did. McLaren as well released a new Lego Technic car that you
Oh,
can build.
of course you're gonna be all over that one.
Aren't I? I mean, I got the Porsche, the Ferrari, I got the the endurance racer, the Formula One car. I gotta get that. I'm a
Good.
loser.
Where do you? I'm a loser. Where do you buy all this?
There are these places called stores. These stores they sell things for profit, and people buy them.
You
Kind of,
know that thing.
you know, kind of how an economy works as well. People, goods. We used to barter.
We
We used to like I would have eggs and you would have
used to
milk,
steal,
right? I used to steal.
just plain out, just
Um,
be a crook
mhm.
and take the
That's why
goods. I
I'm
was poor.
one-handed. I'm
Uh,
one-handed.
anyway,
Um, I have a
uh,
really big show, really big.
I guess that's really big for the F1 cars to reveal that, and even though that's still a while's away. Hey, and
Yeah,
watching that on
March. That's not far away.
The Netty. You're right. That's not far away
Oh,
at all. You're right.
yes, and F1 and Netflix have released the
On the
date for
Netty.
the season 4 of Drive to Survive, which is
Drive to
March
Survive.
11th. So if you haven't seen the first 3 seasons,
I should check out
definitely
for sure the new season.
season 4 will be good. So season 4 coming out this year, obviously follows last year. Um, So you're not going to see the new cars for this year, but you're going to see the battle between Max and Lewis, which there's still no ruling in what happened in that race. Um, they're still waiting to figure out what happened. I don't know what's going on there. It's still a controversy, or however you.
Controversy, controversy,
Yeah,
controversy.
yeah.
The controversy of our podcast. Um, which hey, like you gotta tell them where to get us at, because we're gonna be trying to churn out a few different episodes this week.
You can check us out on Spotify.
You sound like you have a gun to your head. I guess you kind of do.
I'm blinking. Blink twice. Um, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Uh,
It's just like the intro,
you-
but it's an outro.
it's an outro. I don't know. I'm new to this.
Good
I'm
hosting
not
job
very good
today,
at it.
Wallace.
See, the thing is that we tried it. We switched it up. It didn't go very well. I'm a good ranter.
You're a switch,
I'm
as
not
they
a I'm
say.
not a good
No, no,
leader.
you're
I'm
you.
not a good leader.
Honestly, they're all the same. But now you're screwing up. Now you're screwing up.
No, and it's not even like we can edit it because it's live.
And then I'm churning this out right when we sign off here. We're gonna try to post this ASAP. I guess there's no reason to edit anything, but you can check like
So
our
you can check us
website.
out on Wide World of
That is too
Motorsports
long for freaking
podcast.
Wallace, apparently.
.wordpress.com.
Maybe someone should do something about it.
I'm gonna have to say it again. Wide World of Motorsports
The
podcast.
Wide World of Motorsports podcast.
You didn't say the in the rehearsal.
The is in the top.
The was
Yeah.
definitely not in the rehearsal.
Oh, that's not good. You might want to write that down on your sticky note.
Yeah, my sticky note.
Mhm.
They're orange sticky notes. You should like that. The Wide World of
Yes.
Motorsports podcast. .wordpress.com, or you can just go over to Facebook
Yeah.
/.com//
We gotta set up
WOMs
one of
or
those
Wide World of
donate
Motorsports.
things, and then we can maybe shorten that URL. I'd look into once you get that full package through WordPress. You can shorten that up a bit.
Or we can set up a helpline to just help Jordan and I read. We're just very dyslexic, and
Need some help with that. Nothing. Yeah,
I
we
need some help reading.
need to go to the library and read some books. I think.
But you
Tomorrow.
you
Before
can
the
follow
duels.
Jordan on Twitter.
I don't even
at
have
the-
Twitter. Actually, it's just
I
the
thought
WOMs.
you tweet for the WOMs.
It's just the WOMs at the WWOMS on Twitter. I tweet some good stuff on there, so check that out there. And as you
Okay.
said, the Siri Alexa, we're gonna be up for some more episodes this week, so we'll be back. And
Alexa, that's the other one. That's the other one. You say,
Alexa,
"Hey
Siri.
Alexa, listen to the Wide World of
Pull
Motorsports."
that
The Wide
up.
World of Motorsports. Pull it up. It'll
Pull
pop
that
up. She'll go, "I can't find it. What is this?
That's a common
It's been
problem.
deleted."
It's
Yes.
a common problem. Anyway, we're gonna sign off here. That is it. We'll see you around the bed, folks.